Hello students. In the previous lesson you have already learnt about spermatogenesis, that means how the germ cells in the germinal epithelium of the seminiferous tubules of the male reproductive system undergo meiosis to form haploid sperms. In this lesson you are going to learn about the structure and the function of the human sperm in detail. Let's begin. This is the structure of the human sperm. Now the human sperms are haploid, flagellate and motile structure. Now why it is haploid? Because it has got only one set of chromosomes as it undergoes meiosis in the spermatogenesis. If you want to learn about spermatogenesis, you will get the video in my YouTube channel that explains the entire process of spermatogenesis. If you observe the structure of the human sperm here, you will find that the sperms can be divided into four main parts. The first part is the head. Following the head, there is a small depression which at times not distinct. It is the neck region. The third part is the middle piece. And the fourth part is the end piece or the tail region of the sperm. So these are the four parts of the human sperm. Now coming to the head part. Now the head part comprises nucleus and acrosome. Nucleus is basically pointed anteriorly and posteriorly it has got a depression. Whereas the acrosome makes a cap-like structure around the head of the sperm. This nucleus is condensed which has got DNA and basic protein, and the acrosome is formed by the Golgi bodies. This complete head part is surrounded by the plasma membrane or the cell membrane, as you can see in the picture here. You can also see in the picture here that just beneath the nucleus there are two centrioles present. One centriole is located at the posterior side of the nucleus. Another centriole is present in the neck region. Now, the centriole which is located at the posterior side of the nucleus is called the proximal centriole, and this proximal centriole is responsible for spindle formation during the first zygotic division. Whereas the second centriole is known as the distal centriole, which give rise to the axial filaments. Now the head is followed by a narrow depression which is the neck region. In the middle piece around the axial filaments there is spirally arranged mitochondria called the Neberkern. You can clearly see the mitochondria here spirally arranged known as Neberkern. If you come to the upper part of the nucleus and acrosome, you will find a cap-like fibrillar membrane covering. The covering around the anterior part of the nucleus and acrosome is known as galea. Other than galea, there is an additional membrane which covers the lower part of the nucleus, neck region and the middle piece. It is known as manchette. The fourth part of the human sperm is the tail part, which is very long, as you can see in the picture. Let's summarize the functions of all the structures that are present in the human sperm. The first one is mitochondria. Now this mitochondria provides energy for the movement of the tail. The acrosome which is present will produce the sperm lysine that dissolves the membrane present around the egg. Nucleus provides the genetic material. Now coming to the centrioles. Now the centrioles have essential functions during the spermatozoa formation, the spermatozoa movement as well as in the post-fertilization. Not only that, centrioles also help in the formation of the sperm flagella. As I have said before that in spermatogenesis, most of the cytoplasm is lost. The little amount of cytoplasm that is present is in the tail region in the form of cytoplasmic sheath, as you can see in the picture here. By now, I hope you have understood the structure as well as the function of the human sperm. In the next part, we are going to talk about the viability of the sperm. Now, what is sperm viability? Sperm viability refers to the percentage of live sperm in the semen sample. In other words, it means for how much time the sperm will retain its power for fertilization. Sperm viability is basically done to measure if sperm motility is low and also to differentiate between live non-motile sperm and the dead sperm. Now, the ejaculated sperm remain viable for several days within a woman's reproductive tract, or if it is kept in a nutritive liquid for culture medium in the laboratory. Fertilization process is possible as long as the sperm is alive. Sperm can live for at least 5 days and can also live for up to 7 days. If you examine a live sperm and a dead sperm, it will look exactly like this in the picture here. You can also differentiate a live sperm and a dead sperm with the help of some staining techniques. Before I discuss about the type of stain that is being used in examining the morphology of the sperm, you need to know what is stain. Stain is basically an artificial colorization, and it is given to a particular substance in order to examine the type of tissues, microorganisms, or the type of cells under the microscope. In the same way, nigrosin-eosin stain is used to examine the sperm morphology. This stain basically allows the sperm to be readily visualized. If you see in the picture here, you will be able to notice that the stain produces a dark background on which the sperm appears as light colored. Also, the normal live sperm does not have the stain and appear as white in color, whereas the dead sperm appears pinkish in color as it takes up the eosin stain. This way, we can easily differentiate a live sperm and a dead sperm. So this was all about the structure of the human sperm. In the next part, you're going to learn about the gametogenesis that takes place in the female reproductive system, which is commonly known as oogenesis. Thank you.